everyone, Eggman here with another video, and today we're going to look at my blue Donquixote Doflamingo list for the Romance Dawn set. This is going to be my first set 1 deck list as well, so really exciting. I've done a little bit of playtesting with it, but we're going to do a lot of playtesting on my Twitch starting this week. So this Thursday we're going to be doing that. Make sure to hit the follow for that link in the description. We are also giving away some of these One Piece packs. I know that's one of the big things you guys are looking forward to as well, so make sure to check out these playtesting streams as well, and just kind of future content. So, and also just hit like and subscribe on YouTube as well, just to let me know that you guys are interested in this One Piece stuff. But going into this guy, and part of the reason I want to play is because he has like a really kind of specific when attacking effect. So we're going to look at it right here. It's Donquixote Doflamingo, 5k with 5 life, pretty standard. Dawn ×2 when attacking for 1, so it essentially takes 3 Dawn to activate this effect. Reveal 1 card from the top of your deck. If that card is a 7 Warlords of the Sea type character card with a cost of 4 or less, you may play that card arrested. So not only do you get to play a card for essentially 1 cheaper, but you also get to play it from not your hand, which means you get to kind of do it where it's one, you get to draw a card and play it essentially, right? That's kind of the idea of it, which is really cool. So that's the idea of how this deck works. And now obviously it's kind of tricky to do that all by itself, but we do have a couple of support cards. We're just going to go down the list here, and if you guys want to just see the deck list, there'll be a full picture at the end. I'll have it tagged in the timestamps if you guys care about that. But we do have our Trafalgar Law, who is a blocker. He also is a 7 Warlords. We also do have our Perona here. This is one of our first good texts to kind of get into this kind of effect. So it says, on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and then rearrange them in any order, then return them to the top or bottom of your deck. This just means that if you play this turn, if you're going first, play it turn 1, you place the card that you want to play on your second spot because of how it works, and then on turn 3 what you're able to do is you're able to put 2 Dawn underneath them, pay the 1 when you're attacking, and then you get to play whatever 4 cost kind of 7 Warlords of the Sea on that curve. So that seems kind of nice. I think Perona is like the best turn 1 play in this deck. Definitely max this one out at 4, and even just like late game, it's still kind of fine to do. Just hard cast this for 1. As long as you have the 3 Dawn to activate this effect, you do get the effect off. And one thing we haven't talked about is that it is kind of unfortunate that is an effect that doesn't let you, it plays the card in rest, which means that it could be a little bit better. But I think playing an active would be a little bit too strong. And there are some cards that do have some effects that, on KO proc, which means that even if your opponent wants to swing it, they'd have some reasons to not to. I think is kind of nice. So there is that one. We also do have the Donquixote itself in the deck. So blocker, and then also on play, look at top 5 cards of your deck and then place them on top of your bottom of your deck in any order. So you can play this off your own leader effect, and then you can rearrange your deck again to get another one set up, which I think is kind of nice. He is 4k, which kind of stinks, but he is a blocker, which means that even just hard casting this for 3 and having some blockers out, I think in the medium to late game, I think is fine. So it obviously a little bit more expensive than Perona, but it does have the effect of a blocker, so that is kind of nice there. We do have Marshall D. Teach, which I think is probably one of the best ones to play off our Donquixote effect, especially like in the early game. So just on play, return a character that costs 3 or less to the owner's hand. So just adds some disruption to your opponent, and you get this out for free. Sure, they can attack into it. And I think something that is kind of nice with this deck too, unless it's like something that gets benefits from attacking into guys, is that sure, they just have a really easy way to get rid of these cards on your next turn. That just means there's less swings going into your leader. And that also means that you're playing these for like, you're not having to lose the card in hand to play these guys. And they're kind of cheaper to do so as well. So I think that's kind of nice for, like, it's fine. It's fine, like, because it pretty much becomes a blocker because your opponent wants to hit into it anyways. And then if it lives, you get the value from it. So I think this guy's good. Obviously, kind of disrupts your opponent, which is nice. You can get rid of like a blocker too, which is interesting. And I think this is one of the better ones for it. We do also have, we'll just go through the 7 Warlords that we're going through as well, because we also do have Jackal Mihawk. Just a solid dude also. I mean, obviously you want this in your hand because it is a counter plus 2k, but if it lives and it sticks, you get to do the Dawn ×1 to, when attacking, draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards from your hand. So it lets you just get that cycle you need if you have any dead cards in hand that you don't need anymore. I think that's fine, and it does help you out. You also do have the Gecko Moria. This is just an absurdly good card. Add 1/7 Warlords of the Sea or Fearofdark type character with cost of 4 or less other than itself from your trash to your hand. Just being able to like cycle something for free is good, and it's just good card value in so many ways. You can get back even the Perona because this is a Thriller Bark pirate, and even if like it's just like one of your best like mid-late game hits from this, just because of how it works and everything else. I really like this guy. I think he's good for the deck in so many ways. We also do have the Bartholomew Kuma, so it just has the effect of when it dies. Well, two things. One, it has blocker, which is already kind of good, but also on KO, play up to one of your 4 cost or lower pacifistas from your hand, which can be another blocker or just the Star Deck 6K, which either of these are such a good card to kind of float into. So I think this is probably one of our best early game targets as long as you have the card in hand. I mean, if you go into a Perona and you just look top 4 or top 5 and you put a pacifista in your hand, and then the second card you put in there is the Kuma, so like you draw into a pacifista and then from there you go into the Bartholomew, like you just get so much value from there, and I think that's enough to just kind of sway the game to your own advantage. So I think that's nice. And then we also do have, as once again we're playing 4 and 4, we can put as many of these pacifista blockers in our deck as we want, though it does only have blocker and is a 5k, but that also means that it doesn't have a counter, so that is something to consider. I think 8 is the right number. I might go down a little bit, but even just being able to play this guy, which is a 6k, which means your opponent has to invest something into trying to get rid of it, it's kind of nice. We also do have the Boa Hancock, which is just strictly better than like the promo version of Crocodile. Like this, just like Dawn times when it gains blocker, all right, cool, but like this always has blocker, is a 5k, and then Dawn times when attacking or block, you get to draw 1 card if you have 5 or less in your hand. So this is just like, in so many ways, just way better than the Crocodile promo. So there we go. Get this. If you don't, you can play the Crocodile promo, but if this lives, then you can have a blocker, or even when attacking, get some more card cycle, and that's kind of nice there. We also are running the Centimar since we're playing so many pacifistas. Like this is just so much value in the deck. So Dawn times 1 activating once per turn for 2. Rest the designated amount of Dawn in your cost area, and then play up to 1 cost 4 lower pacifista from your deck, then shuffle your deck. And this gets to shuffle your deck. So let's say, for example, like you want to, like you see the top 5 and like you have to play around it correctly. But if you see like the top 5, there's nothing you really need, or there's something that you want to get like around, like move your deck around, like this being able to shuffle is kind of nice too. And then yeah, being able to play pacifistas for 3 cost as well is good, especially since now we have the blocker ones available to us. Previously we just had the vanillas from the Star decks, so I think that's kind of good. And then from there, I think that's the main kind of decks. We do also have 2 just Donquixote itself. I kind of want to put this to 3. Once you start putting these bad boys down, your opponent's just going to be really sad about it because it just bounces anything back to their hand. If you're playing in something that has a lot of big boys, this bounces anything that costs 7 or less to their hand, which is most cards that I think are being played right now. There are some 8 and 9 costs, but I think Donquixote is such a good disruptor in so many ways, especially if you're already building your deck in your hand as it is. I think he's kind of good there. But since we look at the top 5 of our deck so often, and you can do that, I think that's good. We're also running the Desert Spada, which is essentially the same thing. As you look at the your leader or one of your characters gets plus 2k for the battle, then look at the top 3 cards of your deck and return them to top or bottom of your deck in any order. So being able to do that just means like you can set up your next turn fairly easily, as well as having your counter there. So I think it's worth it running at 4. Obviously, if you go second and your opponent attacks into you first, then you can use this effect, and then you can get some effects from it. So, like if you don't see like a Perona turn 1, this is like an alternately okay turn 1. But obviously, if you go first, like you always want to play Donquixote turn 3 if you didn't find a Perona turn 1. And just go from there. Lastly, we are running 3 Sables because Sables is still really good for what we're doing. Being able to bounce back anything cost of 7 less to their opponent's hand for just a cost of 4 is just good. It's a good card effect, and kind of go from there. Some other cards that we were thinking about running that we are not running in this deck. Obviously, like this Crocodile promo, I think is just strictly worse. I was thinking about running the other Gecko Moria. If you have 5 or more cards in your hand, this character gains double attack, which means it deals 2 damage. But I think I just felt like that was a little bit too You don't get that consistently, so I didn't want to do that. What else was there? Wasn't like a whole lot. There weren't like a lot of. I mean, you can get a Jimbei, play that for free. Not really worth it. There's also like Bartholomew, which is fine. You can put this in your deck if you want to. If like it's fine going turn 2 and being able to look at the top 3, but other than that, this kind of just ends up being dead in your hand a lot. You can trigger it and you can use the effect, and they can help you find cards you need later in the game. I just didn't find that was super handy. There's also Boa Hancock, which also is a 7 Warlords, but we just have better blockers than her at this stage of it, so I didn't want to run it either. And this guy only plays character cards, right? It doesn't play. Yeah, it's only his character cards. So you can't play event cards off it either. So, like Level Up Beam, I was thinking too, because this does let us draw cards also, but only if we have 3 or less cards in hand. So, but I don't know. Like this is the full deck right here. Again, I think if I was to add anything else or anything that I'd probably want to bump into, Centaur is probably still like the weakest card in the deck, but I think it's still really, really good. It's just kind of like another proc of your leader. Like if you don't find the cards that you need, that you can just use Centaur to like be another leader skill. Like if you have like 6 Dawn, if it's your 3rd turn going 2nd, you played Dawn, Centaur previously, you can use Centaur's effect and to play a Pacifista. But probably use the Donquixote effect. But then you kind of have to know the top of your deck. I don't know. Maybe this is rough. But like if you don't find your cards that like let you find the top of your deck very easily, Centaur could help you out by just playing the Pacifistas as well. And like especially since we can get blockers out with Centaur, I think that's worth it in the late game. But I could definitely be kind of wrong on that one. I don't know. I think it's worth it. I think there's some good reasons to do it. I think we have enough blockers because we've got like 11 blockers in this deck plus 2 more, so we've got plus 2, so 13. We've got 17 blockers in this list, so we're probably fine in blockers. If I was to add something, probably another Donquixote again, because this is like really good like late game tempo in a lot of ways, even though we have a bunch of that as it is. And I don't know, I feel like this deck always has like a way to like use your Dawn if you have it, which is nice. And then just has like a lot of passive ways to card draw, or if not even card draw, you get to see the top of your deck so often that if there's a card that you need, for example, if you need to find a Sables, you have a pretty good shot of just using the Perona to put it like the 2nd card in our deck, and then you can get that on your next draw after your Donquixote, or vice versa, or something like that. So anyways, that is going to be it for this list. Again, I hope you guys did appreciate this video. Make sure to check out my Twitch stream. We're doing some play testing. We're doing some pack giveaways. There's reasons for you guys to watch it. And if you made it this far in this video, you must like my content. So hit the like and subscribe button and let me know the kind of next deck leader that you guys want me to cover. And that's going to be it for me. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.